When we think about home security, our minds usually jump to spending a ton of money on fancy gadgets and high-tech systems. But what if I told you the most powerful security system costs you practically nothing? Yeah, it's not a camera, it's not an alarm, it's a way of thinking. In this explainer, we're going to dive into the secrets of a safer home, focusing on really simple, really smart prevention that absolutely anyone can do.
All right, let's try a little thought experiment. I want you to step outside your front door and just for a second, stop seeing it as your home. I want you to look at it through the eyes of a burglar. Seriously, what do you see? What looks weak? What makes it an easy target? Or maybe, what makes it a really tough one? This one little shift in perspective, well, it's the foundation for everything we're about to cover.
So, here's our game plan. This is how we're going to build that fortress one layer at a time. First, we're starting with the most important tool you have, your mindset. Then, we're going to move to the outside, your perimeter. After that, we'll secure the house itself, master the art of illusion, and finally, lock it all down with a simple daily habit.
First up, seeing your home differently. Because let's be real, true security doesn't start with a deadbolt or a camera. Nope, it starts right up here, in your head. This whole section is about learning to spot the vulnerabilities before anyone else does.
Yeah, there's actually a term for this in the security world, target hardening. It sounds intense, I know, like something out of a spy movie, but the idea is incredibly simple. Your entire goal is to make a criminal look at your house and think, ugh, no way, that's too much work, too risky, I'm gonna find an easier one. Every single tip we talk about today is just another tool for hardening your target.
So, what's on this opportunist checklist? Well, it's pretty simple. They are looking for the path of least resistance. They want shadows to hide in, like behind that big overgrown hedge you have. They're praying for a gift, like an unlocked back window. And they're absolutely scanning for signs that you're not home. That pile of newspapers on the porch, that's basically a giant welcome mat saying, hey, come on in, nobody's here.
And that right there brings us perfectly to our next section, fortifying your perimeter. This is your absolute first line of defense. It starts the second someone even thinks about stepping onto your property.
Okay, I've got 3 simple things you could literally do this weekend that make a massive difference. First, landscaping. Those gorgeous, thick bushes right under your windows, they're a perfect hiding spot. Trim them down, take away the cover. Second, light. Burglars hate the spotlight, literally. Motion-activated lights are cheap, they're easy to install, and they are so effective. And finally, lock your gates. It sounds like a no-brainer, but an unlocked gate is an open invitation into your private, unobserved backyard.
Okay, so the perimeter's tough. Now we move inward to the shell of your home itself. In Section 3, secure all entry points. This is where we physically stop someone who's trying to get inside.
Listen up, because this might be the single most important bang-for-your-buck upgrade you can possibly make. Look at this. A standard door is shockingly weak. One solid kick can splinter the whole door frame, because that little metal plate is only held in by these tiny half-inch screws. But for about $10, you can swap that flimsy thing out for a reinforced strike plate. See these long 3-inch screws? They don't just go into the weak door frame. They go deep into the solid wood stud of your house. Trust me, that door is not getting kicked in.
And hey, it's not just about the front door, right? Your windows need some love. Simple pin locks or security film can make a huge difference. That sliding glass door in the back, the cheap security bar dropped in the track makes it almost impossible to pry open. And here's a little pro tip for your garage. You know that red emergency release cord? A burglar can hook that with a coat hanger from the outside in about 6 seconds. But a single zip tie threaded through the release latch can stop that trick cold.
All right, so we've hardened the perimeter, we've toughened up the house itself. What's next? Well, now we get to play mind games. This is Section 4, the power of illusion. The best defense is making a burglar believe there's no opportunity to begin with. We want your home to look occupied, 24/7. Quick question for you. When do most break-ins happen? Everybody says late at night, in the dark, right? Wrong. The data is pretty shocking. Look at this. The absolute peak hours for burglaries are between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. Broad daylight. Why? Because that's when they assume the house is empty. This is exactly why making your home look lived in during the day is every bit as important as at night. So how do you pull off this lived-in illusion? It's actually way easier than you think. A $10 outlet timer can turn a radio on while you're at work, creating some noise. Another can flick the lights on right before you get home. Ask a friendly neighbor to grab that package off your porch. It's these small, random signs of life that create doubt, making a potential burglar think, maybe somebody is home. And that's all it takes.
And that leads us right into our final, and maybe most important piece of this whole puzzle, your daily defense routine.
Because all these upgrades and clever tricks, they're only as good as your consistency. This is where we turn security into a simple, unbreakable habit.
I want you to think of this as your personal 5-minute security sweep. Every time you leave the house, every night before you go to bed, just do a quick run-through. Are the windows locked? Yep. Garage door down? Check. Mail and packages inside? Got 'em. It literally takes less time than brushing your teeth, but this simple routine is what transforms your house from just a house into a fortress.
So, if you remember one thing from all of this, let it be this. Gadgets and alarms are fine. They have their place, but they are reactive. They go off after something bad has already started. True, effective security is proactive. It doesn't come from a box you buy at the store. It comes from a mindset you adopt. It's about being aware, being consistent, and making your home a place that criminals just decide to skip altogether.
So I'm going to leave you with a challenge. What's the one thing you're going to do today, right now? What's one 5-minute action you can take to make your home just a little bit harder as a target? Are you going to go put a new lock on the gate, trim that bush by the living room window, start that nightly checklist tonight? The power to make your home safer is right there, in your hands. Now go use it.